Hello, everybody. Texas Danny. A quick one here. I don't have the energy or the ambition to do a lot of drawings and schematics tonight, or even as cheesy and as simple as mine are. I'd just rather describe it to you right now. It's early Sunday morning here in Texas, about 0100 a.m. on Sunday, August the 29th, 2021. Sad anniversary for me. My mother passed in the year 2004 on this day. And her gravestone is here, but so much is different about this place. So much is different about this place. Okay, and that's a way to call it. Robert Woods got it right. This place, wherever we're at, baby, wherever we're at. Okay, briefly, I want to go into what I think is the most important issue right now, and that's Central Asia. Central Asia is in the news quite a bit right now, all the way across. For example, that country that starts with an A and begins with the N is there. So is one that begins with an I and ends with an N is there. And a lot of Stans live in there, that area. Matter of fact, if there's a lot of Stans, or you got a Stan in your name or whatever, and you're in that area, you're in the stuff. You're in the stuff because it's wild. Going back over my memory, right, which is what I have to collect from of maps that I prior to my quantum jump date of June 2016. I surely looked at the maps more than 3 or 4 times. Really, quite a few. I was by no means an expert. I wasn't expertly knowledgeable. I didn't have exquisite, fine detail, absolute memory, but I was familiar with what the Earth looked like. I was always curious about, hey, this is your Earth. This is what your world is, whether it's round or an illusionary flat tract or whatever else it was. But what's going on right now is what's important in that country that starts with an A and begins with an N. And also its neighbor, Pakistan. Well, we'll mention old Pakistan. And the one with an I and ends with an N, we'll also mention it. Because in this neck of the woods, and everywhere there is a Stan, there is mighty actions taking place right now. Very detailed, very exquisite, busy work going on. Quantum changes galore. As everyone who even has the most basic idea of geography should know, that Iran, also known as Persia in ancient tongues, had quite an amazing geography. Very, very amazing. Very rough. Very kind of a wild geography. Now, these features change over many years, okay? Some features are going to change because of storms, earthquakes, any kind of other catastrophe you can think of, just name it, it's going to show up. And those maps would be changed and altered, surely, over the course of time. But in the broad scheme, they're not going to be abrupt. And we have very abrupt changes. Very abrupt changes to Central Asia right now. Again, there's in Iran, there's kind of an area that almost looked monolithic in the terrain, like a huge cutout slab in the center. And on the other side in Afghanistan was a somewhat broader, kind of square-looking mechanism. I'm looking here at the viewer finder on the other side. And this kind of had anomaly, kind of had like a wild swirl to it. Like if some drunk cowboy was trying to, do a rope trick and swirl them back and forth. It looked exactly like a gravitational flux through rock. It did. It was like if you're imagining and said, hey, that's where I see the course of time going. Millions and millions of years are going to flow right through there. Well, folks, they've done it. They're moving like so. They're moving amazingly like so. The geography is distinctly different in basically central Afghanistan, going to the far part of the country, the farthest, right on the border, southern part of the country, but dropping right down into Pakistan. We have tremendous changes going all the way out to the coast. And just giving you an idea of the straight lines, and of course, I would have to have documented this exquisitely and tightly, and put them all down to be certain. And you can't do it. It's just like the United States of America changes amazingly so, Southern California. But right now we have these areas going out to the coast, and they're changing quite a bit. And that flow, that swirling kind of lasso loop going around each other like a big figure eight, is getting exaggerated. It's more wild in the center. And we have an area that looks like a couple of good-sized mini mountain ranges opened up. That's the only way I can put it out to you, is that, say you had something that was about 95 miles wide and 40 miles deep or whatever else like that. A couple of major areas have opened up into there, right, in these last several days. Now, these changes are important and they're vital because they're coming to Central Asia, where all those stands are. Anywhere you got a stand is going to have some action. Anywhere, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be that either. Russia certainly has super actions happening in her north, big, huge segments and plates. She's got actions going up behind the Nordics to St. Petersburg, going down to Moscow. Russia's going to be extremely busy. China's going to be extremely busy. What used to be the Mongolian desert for me is now in far western China. In my earth, looking at that western desert, it would have been around 800 to 1,200, give or take, miles going up northeast. And now it's in the furthest western part of China. Well, that area, there were up in Mongolia, where there's Lake Uves, right, stretching all the way wide out to Lake Baikal in Russia, and in China, those areas, especially what was the Mongolia desert to me, is really settling. And where the rooftop of the world, Nepal, Bhutan, those areas right through there, used to be trade with a lot more ice. I'm sure there's a lot of ice and water still up there, and that's high country. And you'd still find in the cold months, you'd find some real serious ice up there. But that is changing. That is coming out, and it's flowing into China. Beijing should be looking out west of where she's at. Beijing should be looking west. And also, since I've seen Shanghai change several miles, Shanghai, I would say, has gone 250, 350 miles up the coast. And again, the South China Sea has a Quantum Island in that area, not the supposedly artificial islands. I don't know the debate on that politically, but Hainan Island is a quantum island. It's come in with other quantum islands. For example, there are quantum islands in the Gulf of California. There are quantum islands in the Red Sea. Okay, and these have shown up. So Central Asia is going to be busy. It's going to be active, and we got things coming. Okay, big things coming. If it continues, I don't know what the pace is, because I've been caught by surprise how quick some things go. I've been caught by surprise how things just stopped abruptly and stood pat, didn't do anything further. The areas of concern that I would mention right now is the Gulf of California, Baja California, northern Mexico, Sonora Desert, Chihuahua, central Mexico, Mexico City, the United States, of course, the entire western United States. Well, the entire United States, even Texas, we have a giant plate in rotation, and she's moving. She's heading out east. So as the continent is headed out east, we have actions and changes coming on to Yellowstone. The super caldera has some actions taking place to her north and northeast. Also, you've got water blowing out, coming down through Idaho. It's coming down through the Denali wave that's up in Alaska. Robert Wood's brother Gypsy Road on his channel did a good thing about Alaska. Alaska's got a lot going on. It's got so much ice and water up there. Those changes are undoubtedly going to pour out into the Yukon, going to pour out into British Columbia. Alberta has already had quantum changes. In her far eastern side, she has quantum military gray box areas that have come into existence. And we just have the United States in big actions. We have the island of Manhattan in actions. And Manhattan's going smaller, right? Some things have got to be going, right? The New Jersey and New York area, river areas right there, or that water areas, have transformed quite a bit out. That timeline has come in and altered and shaped. Washington, D.C. is still altering her movements. We have a lot going on everywhere. And the best thing to do is look up Greenland. Keep an eye on Greenland and keep an eye on Antarctica. They're both very important. Okay, long talk tonight. Thanks for listening. Texas Danny out.